Hi everyone, this video I will share with you my review of the FIFINE K688 dynamic microphone. At the same time, this review also includes a review of the Elgato Wave XLR audio interface, which I use for this review. Now, I did purchase it from the official FIFINE store. I hope I pronounced it right. Anyway, on AliExpress, I didn't want to fall into something fake, so just purchase it there. Now, this is my first time actually trying a dynamic microphone, so I purchased something that actually sounds well based on other reviews that I've seen that compare different microphones. It's a dynamic microphone. It supports both USB and XLR. It doesn't come with an XLR cable, but it does come with a USB cable. Now, the advantages of course, the USB is just plug and play compared to XLR. We're going to talk about it in a moment as well. So even the gain control doesn't work, and the mute button, all these things are kind of attached to the USB functionality. Because when it comes to gain, you will be controlling it using an audio interface. For that, of course, I needed to purchase an audio interface. So I researched a bit what I actually want and decided to buy the Elgato Wave XLR. And the main reason for that is because I wanted to use VST plugins. There are various ones that I already purchased, and this is very easy to use with this one. And once you activate it, it works with the Elgato Wavelink software. So it just works all across the apps because you activate it through the Elgato software. So it's really very convenient. And you can also, by the way, mute. If you tap at the back, you can actually mute the microphone if you interact with the Wave XLR. It's relatively very small, very simple, but does the job. And of course, it connects to your PC using USB cable and of course supports XLR. It has high fidelity preamp, low latency monitoring, relatively small footprint, a premium build. You can update via software, and it has the complementary software, which is amazing. Overall, again, also support, by the way, Phantom, although for dynamic microphone, I won't be using it, but you can see on the right side where it said 48V. This is useful if you're using a condenser microphone where external power is required to operate, and the 48V is the standard voltage for this purpose. And in fact, it's better to turn off the 48 volts because applying 48 volts to a dynamic microphone can potentially damage it. But in general, this gives you just flexibility. So if you want to use a condenser microphone with XLR connectivity, or you want to use a dynamic microphone, you can use them both. Now, in terms of microphone durability, it doesn't feel that bad. It doesn't feel, it doesn't feel very durable, but it doesn't feel super cheap. Something in the middle. It's okay. Plasticky. The great thing is it already comes with a shock mount built in, so you don't need to buy it separately. And in the box, you're going to find, of course, the microphone with a shock mount, USB cable, and a 1.58 mil to 3.8 inches male adapter, and a user manual. Now, of course, if you're using USB, you have the option also to use the monitoring, so you can actually connect the headphones to the microphone itself. Although I'm actually using, of course, an audio interface, so I connect actually for monitoring if I want to the Wave XLR, which has a headphone connector at the back, 3.5 millimeters, by the way, jack at the back of the device. So you can see here I connected the XLR cable, which I ordered separately from AliExpress as well, a good one actually, and connected, as you can see, to the microphone at the back. You can see that it comes with a microphone, as I mentioned, USB cable, the adapter, and a user manual. Now, first of all, the Wave XLR is really a fantastic device. If you're using PC and you're recording gaming or anything, this is great because, first of all, again, support XLR, but it brings with so much technologies built in. As you can see, things related to anti-distortion. You have the capacitive mute button at the back, which is very useful to mute when you need it. Direct integration with custom wavelength mixing software. We're going to talk about it in a moment. And interchangeable faceplate. So overall, again, in terms of functionality, ease of use, if you want to use also mixing, of course, with different channels. So for game, for example, in audio or Discord, anything, you want to mix between various inputs, you'll be able to do that using the complementary software. Here I can actually see, you type at the back, you can see USB Type-C that connect to your computer, hyper headphone output, zero latency, all right? So this is for monitoring. And you can see you can connect the XLR at the back here. So these are regarding faceplate. Of course, I have the default one. Plenty of power. They also mentioned up to 75 dB for ultra low noise gain. So again, it can fit many microphones, but up to 75. dB, but 48 volts, we talked about it before, of phantom power bring condenser microphone to life. So basically, if you're using a microphone, a condenser microphone, you have the option to turn on the 48 volts. So you get built-in amplification. This is another thing talking about. This is a clip guard. This is so useful. There's so many times when I'm actually recording, but when I speak and get excited or shout or whatever, when you stream, when you're recording videos, you know, you get your voice get distorted, and it's very hard to control. You need to lower the voice, and then software you need to kind of normalize it and anything. With this one, it's just game over for all this nonsense. Basically, your voice will always come up clean, without any any of these distortions that can happen if you raise your voice, for example. It's absolutely fantastic and works flawlessly. Now, once you install the software, it will actually create different virtual channels for each, for various connections for mixing, for example, voice, game, music, link browser. So you can actually assign them later in the software itself with different inputs. You can actually separate the audio sources. So just a quick look. I have only one channel here, but you can see here, you can see the mix, the monitoring here, stream mix, two separate outputs. Of course, you can add more channels. As I mentioned, if we click here, we can see that we can choose the sample rate, input level. Now I'm speaking, we can actually see it here. You can choose the input gain. You have, of course, if you're using a condenser microphone, you can turn on the 48 volts of phantom power. Of course, you can lower the input gain to match your, if you're using condenser or dynamic microphone. Headphone jack, if connected, you can see you can choose the output volume and control the mix, and choose low impedance mode if you need to. Low cut filters and clip guard, which I just turned by default. Some people said, when they're shouting, they want people to hear them shout like crazy. It kind of, it's kind of toned it down. So in my opinion, it's very useful in general. I just leave it by default because it's just so useful. All right, I know that you want to hear the shouting example, or this I'm going to show you in a moment. So let's do this. Let's just increase a bit the dynamics, so it's going to be high. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to shout into the microphone. Ready? I'm shouting like crazy, shouting at the microphone, shouting like crazy. Row noise. All right. Now it turned clip guard off. I'm now shouting to the microphone, shouting like crazy, shouting like crazy. All right, now I'm shouting again with Clipguard on. All right, so you see, I just gave a kind of an extreme demonstration for that, but usually, again, you want to keep it again low. But of course, even if you kind of shout like a bit more, and you don't need to turn it on if you're not raising your voice a lot, but overall, you just kind of safeguard basically just prevent everything from clipping. But again, put it, of course, as something that is relatively, based on your voice, based on what you talk on average, rather than just keeping up, because still it's going to cause the voice to become not that great, even if the clip guard is active, but it prevents it from actually just clipping like crazy. So this is a very, very, very useful feature. Now, you're probably interested to hear how this microphone sounds with some maybe background noise and without any plugins turned on. So basically, this is plugins. You can actually download more, even NVIDIA Broadcast as a plugin combined with Elgato, so you can actually even use it here with other plugins available from the website. You can actually see this icon at the top. If you go here, you can actually find one. Some of them paid, some of them are free. You can actually, of course, buy other ones, which I bought personally from Waves. These include Vocal Rider, for example, Clarity for noise reduction. So Elgato noise reduction, but it's turned off. You can actually turn them off separately. So if I go here, for example, this is, by the way, for reverb. But if I go, for example, for reverb, if I press here, the plugin will just launch, and you can actually play with it. And of course, because this applies to everything that comes from the microphone, with any software that you assign it to use the Wave XLR, it's going to use, of course, the audio output that includes also the plugins. Very useful for using various plugins straight here instead of using them in separate software, which of course you can do if you want to, but you just one place and it applies to the microphone. So very, very useful to use plugins. All right, so you can add an effect and just add them, and you can control the mirror, which one is active, which one is not. So let's hear how the microphone sounds without any of the plugin active. So I'm just going to turn everything off right now. All right, and now basically, yeah, it's straight up active, right? So when I speak, they're not active. So let me do some noise. All right, I'm now tapping on my desk. Let's also just click on the keyboard. I'm just clicking on the keyboard and talking at the same time. This is a mechanical keyboard, red switches. So I'm just typing on the keyboard and talking at the same time. Let's be quiet in here. There's some noise in the background. All right. And yeah, so yeah, that's how it sounds without actually plugins being active. All right. So it's just going to activate the plugins that I'm actually using. So let's activate this one, and this one, all of them now. And let's, well, let's do the same. Now I'm just going to type on the keyboard and speak at the same time. All right. Speaking and typing. Let's be quiet a bit. All right, now speak again. So again, these are with some of the plugins turned on. Of course, you can use other plugins, just use a few. I also have plugins that are not VST, so actually in the video editing, and also using now a better noise reduction than that Elgato uses. So for example, I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm speaking right now with it. I'm going to now type and speak at the same time. So again, I'm typing right now with the red switches turned on, and typing and speaking. Now I'm going to be quiet and type only. Now I'm just going to be quiet and not type. There's some background noise, but you of course might not hear it. Now I'm typing and speaking, and now not typing and just speaking to the microphone, so you can hear how the voice sounds with, again, plugins activated and some other things in the video editing software. The reason you can hear some keystroke when I speak, because the frequencies are quite close to my voice, and this is why it picks up some of the keystrokes. Although if you use NVIDIA Broadcast plugin, you won't even hear that sometimes, again, but it does actually a very good job eliminating keystrokes. Now I'm going to do a little distance test. Keep in mind there are some software, of course, that allows you to do even a better job when getting further away to increase the gain automatically when you're further away from the microphone. So let's do a test right now. I'm just speaking very close to the microphone, like very, very, very close. Now I'm going to get a bit further away from the microphone. This is like, I think, let's say hand distance. Now I'm getting further away from the microphone. Now I'm further away from the microphone. Now I'm going to go, I think, like 1 meter. And now I think like 2 meters from the microphone. Now I'm getting closer back to the microphone until I get very, very close to it. Very, very close. All right, now in this test, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to increase the gain while being like, let's say, 2 meters from the microphone. So let's try it out. All right, so this is 75 dB, all right? Maximum input gain. Now I'm just going to adjust it for a second. All right, now I'm like 1 meter from the microphone, 75 dB. All right, input gain. Now I'm like taking, I think like 2 meters from the microphone, and again with 75, just talking normally, nothing special. All right, now I'm getting closer to the microphone, still maintaining the 75 dB. Now I'm getting very, very close to the microphone. Here we go. All right, now I'm testing the 60 dB input gain. All right, 1 meter from the microphone, speaking directly to the microphone. Now I'm going to take a bit back. Now it's, I think, like 1.5 meters from the microphone, speaking to the microphone. I think now it's like close to 2 meters from the microphone. Now I'm going to start going very close to the microphone, 60 dB input gain, and getting very close now to the microphone. Here we go. Yeah, so I think this demonstration was important. Basically, when you speak, you need to be close to the microphone. Again, we're using a dynamic microphone because the sensitivity, right? The dynamic microphones are less sensitive than condenser microphones, so speaking closer to the microphone ensure that your voice is picked up clearly. Also, I think regarding noise, right? Being closer to the microphone helps to minimize the pickup of unwanted background sounds. And well, dynamic microphone exhibit kind of a, in quotation, proximity effect, which is a boost in bass frequencies as you get closer to the mic. You can actually hear it right now. This can add warmth and depth to your voice. So the recommended thing is just, finding the good starting point where you position yourself, I think something around 6 to 12 inches, and then maybe try to get closer to see, what works best for your microphone and, the sound that you like. So experiment with different distances to find a sweet spot that will provide you the best balance of clarity and bass response for your voice. Also, things regarding the angle that the microphone, you can kind of, maybe move it a bit upwards to help minimize the pickup of plosive sounds like P and B and P, B. Avoid speaking directly into the microphone, which can actually cause distortion and popping sounds. And monitor your audio, which you can do, of course, and just hear how you sound and see if you like it. All right, so let's do a plosive test and see how it goes. All right, so let me just adjust the microphone. Now I'm very close. Let's speak. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Now I'm going to speak directly into the microphone. This was kind of on the side. All right, so directly. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. 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 Yeah, so that's it. Keep in mind, everything recorded in this video was using the XLR with the FIFINE microphone and the Wave XLR, so you can just hear with different options how it sounds, if you like the color of the sound, and how it works with the plugins, and of course the complementary software. Of course, if you're using different plugins, you can really get very interesting results that really fixes some of the issues regarding noise, regarding when you speak from distance. So you can actually have auto gain, for example. There are many plugins that can help with that. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. All right, the last test would be XLR versus USB, right? Because these microphones support them both. So let's do that. I'm recording now something with XLR, and then we're going to try the same thing with USB. All right, this is again with the XLR. The old oak tree, a sentinel against the sky, stood stoically in the meadow, its gnarled branches like skeletal fingers clawed at the twilight sky. A young girl with eyes as bright as summer stars sat beneath its sprawling shade, lost in a daydream. A gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, rustling them like 1,000 silken whispers. The gale, obviously to the world around her, hummed a melancholic tune, her voice a fragile melody carried on the wind. Suddenly, a flash of movement caught her eye, a mischievous squirrel with fur the color of burnt caramel darted up the trunk, its tiny claws scurrying with surprising agility. The girl giggled, a sound as light as a butterfly wings. The squirrel, seemingly startled, paused, its head cocked curiously. And for the fleeting moment, a connection formed between the girl and the creature, a shared moment of innocent joy in a fading light of day. Yeah, some complicated words I didn't read it correctly. Nonetheless, you heard it. Let's turn to USB. All right, now you're listening to me using the USB. All right, so let me just adjust it, and I'm going to repeat the same test. Yeah, USB now, right? Not XLR connection. The old oak tree, a sentinel against the sky, stood stoically in the meadow, its gnarled branches like skeletal fingers clawed at the twilight sky. A young girl with eyes as bright as summer stars sat beneath its sprawling shade, lost in a daydream. All right, let's continue. Yeah. A gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, rustling them like 1,000 silken whispers. The girl, oblivious to the world around her, hummed a melancholic tune, her voice a fragile melody carried on the wind. Suddenly, a flash of movement caught her eye, a mischievous squirrel with fur the color of burnt caramel darted up the trunk, his tiny claws scurrying with surprising agility. The girl giggled, a sound as light as butterfly's wings. The squirrel, seemingly startled, paused, its head cocked curiously, and for the fleeting moment, a connection formed between the girl and the creature, a shared moment of innocent joy in the fading light of day. Okay, time for a recap and my thoughts. Keep in mind, I'm back to speaking with XLR connection. All right, first of all, regarding the USB compared to the XLR, I feel that the XLR feels much more fuller, kind of like high resolution audio with very stable in terms of the frequency. It doesn't feel like with the USB, it feels like you kind of move between the with the lows and the mids. It kind of fluctuate a bit. And it sounds, I don't know, like cheaper compared to the XLR variation. Also, the sound from the XLR sounds more full, rich, warm that I personally like compared to the USB one. By the way, the moment you connect the USB, you can actually see the lights there for the mute button kind of light up with green. If you tap it, it's going to be red for muted. So I personally really like the sound that coming out from this microphone. I actually liked it when I heard it before. And of course, as you know me, I'm going to try various microphones I'm going to share with you on my channel, so make sure to subscribe. Regarding the Wave XLR from Elgato, I really like its design, feels very good, small footprint, and the big dial control to control if you connect headphones to control the volume of the headphone. Also, it has software integration with the Wavelink software, so the wheel can also use, again, primarily for headphone volume, but its behavior can be customized within the Wavelink software to potentially control other aspects of audio setups. But I had to try it myself. It supports, again, a 48 volts Phantom. The ability to use the VST plugins is just, for me, this is the reason why I love it so much, because I already use it, and being able to just plug in there and use it for any software that I use, it's just a fantastic feature. This is why the combination of both works so well for me. And of course, the Wave XLR is fantastic if you're, again, a gamer gaming on PC. This is just a master, because the integration with the software and the hardware is just top notch. And just note, you can actually install so many plugins to further customize everything with your voice. And of course, the ability to have different channels, different inputs, and you already have the virtual ones. So you can assign different audio inputs to each channel and separate voice, social, Discord or gaming or everything straight out from the Wave XLR, the Wavelink interface. You can use it for both dynamic microphone and condenser microphone. You can use USB and XLR with an input gain control if you're using USB with a knob there at the back. The FIFINE has a shock mount, which is, again, looks very kind of big, but again, it does the job. It's not perfect, but it does the job very well. Also, the size of the microphone, I think, is, right on. I actually had before that another microphone. This is slightly larger than that, but I had no problem with the size. Not that I feel like, wow, it's a large microphone. No, it's okay. I haven't tried others, bigger ones, let's say it like that. So the size works for me, no problem with that. Just if you're already, again, buying this microphone, any other dynamic microphone doesn't come with an XLR cable, get a good XLR cable, of course, if you're already doing it. Also notice again that the sound quality from the XLR sound much better compared to the USB, based on my ears and my comparison after testing it out and listening to it. And that's about it. Hope you find this one useful. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section below. As you know me, I'm going to try out many other microphones. I'm going to share on my channel, so make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.